What's the name of it? The Rio Anthony Township.
He's locking the gate. Ooh.
Good morning.
So much.
Time being 9 o'clock. My name is Chris Caius. I am the president of the King County Forest Preserve. And I would like to call this meeting to order on Tuesday, October 10th, 2023. And we will begin with a Pledge of Allegiance. And I'd like to have Sergeant Hayes, please come to the microphone and lead us. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're so cold.
Thank you, Sergeant. And then roll call.
Bates,
It's here.
Berman,
Urban's here.
Doherty,
Doherty here.
Davist,
Davist here.
Ford, Gums,
Gums here.
Iqbal, Juby,
Over here.
Kenyon,
Here.
Caius,
That's present.
Leonard here.
Lewis,
Lewis here.
Linder,
Linder here.
Molina,
Molina present. Raw.
Roth here.
Sanchez,
Sanchez present.
Silva,
Silva is here.
Strathman,
Strathman here.
I'm getting choked up.
I'm getting all choked up that I'm here.
Dave. Dave. Yo.
Kerr,
Carver's here.
Williams, Young.
Young here.
Do you have a quorum?
We have a quorum present and we had somebody online. Do we?
Mr. Doherty.
Mr. Doherty, and without objection, we'll allow Mr. Doherty to be a voting member in this
Make it so.
august body.
Mr. Chairman, this is Alan.
Oh, Miss Allen.
Is there any chance I could be allowed? I think I messed up all of the remote attendance requests this morning, but I thought I'd ask anyway.
Certainly, I hear no objection. So you're welcome to
Thank you.
participate.
Thanks so much.
Always welcome to participate, Miss Allen. Okay, and I guess we're going to start with some public comment this morning. So I have some listed on computer and have signed up this morning. We can start with maybe, we'll give deference to Mr. Fraz. Since I see he's drinking water there, he's got his mouthful. Our past board members and a significant contributor to the Forest Preserve and the county in the past.
Good morning.
Morning, just state your name and
My name is Drew Fraz, 1N 545 Brundage Road, Elburn, Illinois. And thank you for allowing us to speak this morning. And also thank you for providing the delay last month by tabling the vote on the barn. So I'm here to speak on the 1927 dairy barn. This is located in the Mill Creek Greenway, just behind the Natural Resource Center that the Forest Preserve operates. This barn has been saved 3 times in the last 23 years. First by Garfield Farm Museum. Jerry Johnson is here. He'll be speaking later. He's in his Garfield Farm garb because he'll be giving a tour right when he leaves here. The LaFox Civic Organization, of which I'm the president, and the former Forest Preserve commissioners, including myself, who saved it after that. This barn is located on a designated rustic road. One of the purposes of the King County Rustic Road Program is to preserve rural view sheds. Of course, a barn would be a big part of that view shed. It's also located in the middle of a huge multi-agency open space complex totaling about 1,800 acres. The same groups that have saved the barn in the past would like to accept the challenge of finding an end use and finding resources, financial resources to repair and repurpose this barn. In the last week, we had an assessment by Rick Collins. Rick is one of the foremost experts in barn restoration and construction and timber frame construction in the Midwest. He provided us very quickly with a very positive report that laid out a roadmap for the repairs that this barn would need and how to go about doing them. And he also provided a very, very realistic and much lower than expected estimate of the cost to do the same. We've also opened a dialogue with different organizations for possible grant funding and received initial first blush positive reactions on some funding. Kane County has several barns that have been repurposed. Aurora West comes to mind. Also the Schweitzer Woods barn is being used by the township up there. And of course, I think the most successful one is the Bruner farm. In my time as a commissioner, sitting in your chairs, several of us worked to save the Bruner farm and barn and got the funding. And this is before there's any end use proposed. And right when we got done, All Grass Farm showed up. And if you're familiar with that, they're just a very successful organic farm open to the public operation. So we're asking you today to table either table this resolution to tear the barn down or just vote no. You can always revisit it in the future, but we would just like a little bit of breathing room and to take the death sentence away from this barn. So we have a little time to work on it. You know, getting grants and things like that, you just can't do it in a few months. So give us some time. If we fail, you can always come back and revisit it. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cross. Okay. Then I think we'll go with Mr. Johnson, Gerald Johnson. Oh, I'm sorry, Jerome. Your new name.
So many
No.
Johnsons around, you got to
Yeah,
do is
right.
make as much distinction as possible. So,
Welcome, Jerry.
Jerome Johnson of Garfield Farm Museum, 41W 652 Beath Road, Campton Hills, Illinois. Thank you for letting us speak today. And I guess I was the only one who got the black tie option. But anyhow, yes, since last month and with your participation, we really appreciate it. We've been able to have Mr. Collins out from Firmitas. He said the replacement value of this taxpayer-owned asset is $1.8 million. So you already have an asset that has value that with additional work can be made into something that will benefit the public or potential partnership with other entities. With that, I have a handout there. I believe Mr. Habitur distributed to you all that gives you some idea of just the viewscape. And I immediately was suddenly, after talking with several people, and with, well, you know, you could have, of course, farm related operations, you could have a drone training school inside the building, et cetera. But right off the top, the obvious thing is you look out the window and here you have a 1.6 mile viewscape of what is being restored as all prairie. And I can just imagine John Beatty in 1835 making his first claim in Campton Township in March of 35, standing on this ridge and looking across this valley and saying, you know, I've got an opportunity here. This ground below me is too wet. It's a wet prairie, but this high ridge up here of dry, fertile ground, this is where I'm going to make my farm. And though he was didn't make a definite decision, finally, he did move to another site in our township. This was the value of everything basically west of the Fox River, is that these were high fertile agricultural grounds where there's more naturally areas that survive in DuPage County because it was wetter and wasn't all plowed under. But with us, we've got a few great places. DeKalb has almost none, and DeKalb was once part of our county. The obvious thing here is make on all this acreage, it's 900 acres right here, the Geneva Prairie Green, the Forest Preserve, and the St. Charles Park District have control over. All that, there's no facility where you can actually look out and see such an expanse. And this is part of actually a 4.5 mile viewscape that if you're at Peck and Kesslinger and look back to the Town Hall Road where the highest point in Campton is, you see this basically uninterrupted landscape. So with that, it's a chance here in the center of Kane County. And in light of the fact that in 2 years' time, the Kane County Forest Preserve will be celebrating 100 years. This would be a wonderful project to highlight the great potential that Kane County saw 100 years ago for preserving lands and making them available to the public. So with that, I want to thank you. And one other thing I wanted to mention is Mr. Collins also said the building's very structurally sound, and considering he worked on 2 of our buildings that were not structurally sound, he knows what he's talking about. So with that, thank you so much. I appreciate your vote to either turn down the resolution or to eliminate the demolition date. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Then third, I would call on Mr. Mark Bernard. Let's go ahead and step up. Are we tag teaming? Oh, no.
My name is Mark Bernard, 1N292 Brundage Road in Elburn. I'm also the owner of Rustic Road Farm on Brundage Road. It's a small farm. We live on 5.5 acres. We lease another 18 acres not far from us to grow vegetables. I'm here for two reasons today. One is to ask for your support to save this barn. And the second is to offer an end use for the barn. I think it's great to save this barn, but then what are we going to do with it? And the Forest Preserve has a history already with Bruner Farm and Allgrass Farms in a good partnership. We've been in meetings with Ben a couple of times already, informal, to talk about this. But a little bit about what Rustic Road does. So we're an organic farm. We have a community supported agriculture program. We supplied 650 families with produce each week during the summer. We grow year round in heated greenhouses on our property. So we provide organic greens year round. In addition, we sell about 1,000 dozen eggs a week from chickens on the farm. We have a small herd of dairy goats that we'd like to expand and do a goat dairy. And we raise heritage pigs on pasture. This past year, we raised about 150 pigs. Part of the challenge we have is because we live on 5.5 acres and we lease this other 18 acres that's only for vegetables. We cannot have animals on that property. So we'd like to be able to consolidate our farm and bring everything into one place or as close to one place as we can. The barn at the end of Brundage would be a great fit for us because in addition to that, there's 17 acres that's not in, I don't know exactly, in grant money that could be used. It doesn't have to be returned to prairie. So for us, that's a perfect fit, the 5.5 acres that we currently farm on our own property. And then if we could be part of this as a solution to saving this barn, the barn at the end of Brundage in 38. So that's what we would ask, save the barn, and then we can provide, and like to be considered as an end use for this barn. If it's saved, that we could move some of our operation to that property. So thank you for listening, and I hope that you'll consider tabling this and saving this barn. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, then on to another topic. I think the next on the list, I had Sue Harney down here.
Bring this down there. Good morning, everyone. And I want to start out by thanking all of you from the bottom of my heart for the Forest Preserves. They have been an absolute godsend during COVID. I'm a longtime supporter. I was the Dundee Township Supervisor for 16 years, so I am a strong supporter of open space, and I'm now a trustee. But the Kane County Forest Preserves are a beacon for us to manage our lands. The expertise, the staff is wonderful. The programs that you guys put on are just fabulous. And so I want to thank you for your support. And I also want to strongly encourage you to increase the levy for the Forest Preserve. I looked at my tax bill. It seems to be a very modest amount. I think something in the neighborhood of $100 or $200. I would be happy to pay far more. And given the fact that the Forest Preserve receives so much support during times when you pass referendums to add land, I think that perhaps I'm not alone in this feeling. So I'd like to see a larger staff. I would like the people that I work with are utterly fabulous. And I think they could do so much more with restoration if they had a few more people to help them out. And I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Sue. And then maybe the best for last, Kim Haig. I think I have you next on the list to speak.
I think my hearing's going. I'm sorry.
Me too.
I'm Kimberly Haig, 4N 545 Citation Lane, Elburn. glad to see Elburn represented here. And I really appreciate listening to these three gentlemen. I go down Brundage Road a lot, and it's just a good testament to how really beautiful Kane County is. And that is because of so much of our open space. I volunteer a lot for the Forest Preserve. I'm a co-steward at Johnson's Mound, and I do a lot of other work days as well. I also volunteer for all the, or almost, I should say, almost all the special programs. And I work closely with the education department and of course the volunteer department. And basically I'm just a real supporter of the Forest Preserve. And because I volunteer so much, I know firsthand just how hard staff works, and especially the whole restoration staff. I mean, they do an amazing, I think we have 25,000 acres now or close to it. And I think for really a pretty short, small number of people, they do an amazing job. And I am also, I read that you were thinking of raising the tax levy, and I'm totally in favor of that, because if we can put on more staff and provide more amenities to the beautiful places we already have, I'm totally in support of that. I looked at my tax bill and I paid $115 to the Forest Preserve last year. I live in an average house in unincorporated Elburn, so I think that's probably an average amount. So, and looking at my tax bill, which I'm not complaining about at all, but I'm saying that's pretty small portion of my tax bill. I personally would be glad to pay more for the Forest Preserve because of all they offer. And also I know the staff, and now with Ben at the head and Pat and Jason, you know, conservation is like the top word. It like envelops everything. And I appreciate that so much. So I think I would hope that everybody would support more support for the Forest Preserve. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Kim. Okay, was there anyone else that was signed up this morning to speak on either of those topics? Okay, well, thank you very much for your contribution. And then we are going to have the presentation and approval of the minutes. May I have is that correct? Okay. The may I have a request to adopt the minutes from September 12th, 2023. Board would then ask for unanimous consent for the adoption of the minutes from 2020, September 12th, 2023.
I heard you say unanimous consent.
This
Yeah.
was for unanimous consent.
Yes.
Board. And so many exciting things going on this morning. So without objection, we'll make it so. Then may I have motion second to approve, motion and second to approve the bills and the commissioners per diem for September 2023, moved by Berman, second by
Roth.
Roth. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Allen,
Ellen,
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Gums,
Thumbs, yes.
Iqbal, Juby,
Maybe I.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Stratman,
Yes.
Surges, Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Tepe,
Zepi, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young,
Young, yes.
approved.
Motion passes. Then may I have a motion in a second for FPR 2310-3044, resolution of commendation for Michael A. Hinton, moved by
Thumbs will move.
Gums.
Roth will second.
Roth second. And this is we're going to go up to the front here and do the presentation, but we'll have, maybe you could just start. I know I'm throwing something at you. If you'd like to start by introducing this a little bit, and then we'll meet you up front.
Paul Berger, I know most of you. My wife loves this. Well, I do. The reason we're here today is for a commendation for a citizen of Kane County that did a great thing. And our officer was there to help, but First of all, I'd like to introduce Michael Hinton. Come on out, Michael. I'd like to introduce Marcia Simone. And then lastly, Officer. Don't be nervous. So in August of this year, Michael and Marcia were out for a walk, not together, but on our trails. And Marcia had slipped and fell and hit her head and was hurt. Michael came upon her and stayed with her and called 911 and coordinated with Officer Lopez and other first responders to bring them into the scene and render aid to Marcia. And I think at one point you threw everybody in the bed of your pickup and and had to drive them out because the EMS vehicles couldn't make it back there. So Michael did a great thing that day, and we're here to commend him for that. And the president has a resolution.
Okay.
Again, yeah, it's a great thing. We are.
What the heck? Take it back.
Throw it away, get a new one.
And then I'm going to read this, this is what you'll be presented with here. Or.
There you go.
Let's see if that works. Okay, great. Is that gonna work? Okay. Okay, resolution of commendation for Michael A. Hinton. Whereas Michael A. Hinton of North Aurora, Illinois, was visiting Dick Young Forest Preserve in Batavia on August 22nd, 2023, and came upon an injured person. And whereas Michael A. Hinton called emergency services to report he had found an elderly female off the trail in a remote location. She had fallen and had a serious head injury and was bleeding. And whereas when the Elburn Fire Department responded, they were unsure how to locate and reach the injured person as they could not drive their equipment on the trails. They requested assistance from Forest Preserve District of Kane County Police Officer Ed Lopez, who had also arrived on scene. And whereas Michael A. Hinton supplied directions to Officer Lopez by phone, who was then able to transport paramedics to the scene within 15 minutes, allowing emergency responders to begin rendering aid so that the injured woman could then be transported to the hospital. And whereas Michael A. Hinton's willingness to call for help, remain with the injured woman to provide comfort and to assist emergency responders is a selfless act of service, caring, and compassion for which he should be commended. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Chris Caius, President of the Forest Preserve Commission of Forest Preserve District of Kane County, does hereby offer sincere thanks and appreciation to Michael A. Hinton and acknowledge his exemplary service to a fellow citizen. And with that, I would ask for a roll call vote. How about that? Right in the middle of this whole thing. There was no.
Allen. Allen. Bates.
Bates, yes, thank you so much.
Berman.
Berman, yes.
Hardy.
Doherty, yes.
Davist.
Davis, yes.
Ford. Gums.
Gums, yes.
Iqbal. Juby.
Juby, aye.
Kenyon.
Yes.
Caius.
Nice, yes.
Leonard, yes.
Lewis.
Lewis, yes.
Linder.
Linder, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes.
Roth.
Roth, yes.
Sanchez.
Sanchez, yes.
Silva.
Silva, yes, and congratulations.
Strathman.
Absolutely, yes.
Sturgis.
100%.
Tarver.
Yes.
Tepe.
Deppie, yes.
Williams.
Williams, yes.
Young.
Young, yes.
It's approved.
Okay. That was exciting. Yeah.
Love the guy. Great story. Awesome.
I didn't know.
Love it. Well done.
Well, not well done.
Well done.
Well done, well done. And that's what it's all about.
Gotta work it, girl.
This is why we do this.
Just gotta have the touch. Gotta have the touch.
Thank you for being with us. Okay, now on to the mundane business of Forest Preserve. If I can get this right now, may I have a motion in a second for the approval of FPR 2310-3045, a resolution approving the fiscal year 2024-25 estimated budget for the purpose of establishing the 2023 tax levy.
Berman moves.
Moved by Berman, second by
Strathman.
Strathman. And we have Dave Petchke,
Morning,
our CFO.
morning. Presented for your approval today is the
A
2023.
little closer, David.
Sure.
Please.
Presented for your approval today is the 2023 budget for tax levy purposes. This is the first phase, first step of the budget, the tax levy process. The next step, next month, what will come forward is after this budget is approved is the actual tax levy ordinances. We're only 4 months into the fiscal 24 year, so presented here, we have preliminary results from the 23 fiscal year. The auditors have been out in September. These are the preliminary findings. There was no journal entries presented by them, so I feel pretty confident in these figures that you see today. Starting off in the general fund, there was a surplus overall of $649,467 to the revenues. This was primarily due to state replacement tax, which had a surplus of $384,223. This is due to the IML, Illinois Municipal League estimates being slightly off, getting revenues higher than anticipated. This is not anticipated to continue in fiscal year 24 that we are currently in. They've already diverted 5% of those revenues towards other state purposes. And that we estimate that this value will go down and that we're more on budget for this year. Investment income, there's also a surplus of $402,561, the revenue. This is due to the increasing interest rate environment and the Federal Reserve raising rates pretty aggressively during that year to combat inflation. Additionally, sale of material, there was a deficit in here of $152,677. This was due to the district not being able to sell vehicles that should have been replaced through the enterprise program. So due to not getting those vehicles in, we couldn't sell the existing fleet. So down in the expense section, we'll go over that as well. There's also expenses that were lower than budgeted for that reason. Expenses in the general fund, there was again a surplus of $1,430,319. This was primarily due to full-time and part-time wages, which was a surplus of $562,034. The district had spent 90% of this total budget in the fiscal year. There's 3 primary reasons for full-time salaries that this amount came in lower than anticipated. As you all know, the ERI had been offered to select employees in 2022. Most of these employees had not elected to take this ERI until July through December of 2022. So as they were replaced, these employees had, in some cases, been replaced by internal staff and then also by external staff as well. As these employees were replaced, the timing to get the external employees on staff took longer than anticipated to find qualified replacements. It also, in addition to this, the overall staff turnover was more significant than prior years. So working with HR, we determined that there was an overall just about 20% of employee turnover. This constituted 5 employees taking the ERI during the fiscal year, 8 part-time employees leaving the district, and then 11 full-time employees leaving the district. So 24 overall had turned over. We contribute this primarily to the salaries and compensation for employees based on exit interviews from staff. That has been an overwhelming result from the exit interviews. As those staff also transitioned out of the district, finding new staff to take their places again took longer than anticipated. There was also, due to the ERI and those employees that took it, the calculations were done all the way through December of 2022. So in early 2023, we were able to get some calculations together, and we hired, which was the goal of the ERI, to find new employees after those original positions were replaced. So those new employees, primarily they started in April. So they were only on staff from April through June. Moving on, the employer health insurance, due to all the reasons above and the transitions between staff, those health insurance premiums, the employer cost of it was lower than anticipated. And contingency, I brought up earlier about the vehicles from prior years and being under budget. We have not been able to source those vehicles. So we've not had much success with Enterprise. We've had to start seeking other avenues to get vehicles. So working with co-ops and the state bid, in addition to also being on a wait list with Enterprise to try to get some vehicles. Interfund transfers, there was a surplus of $113,538. This was due to, what this is due to is how we budget for the general fund is we'll budget for IMRF, Social Security, and liability funds. And then as those tax levies come in order to maintain a 6-month fund balance reserve in those funds, we transfer only what's needed to maintain that balance. So due to, again, the transition in staff, this created a surplus because there was not as many funds needed due to the turnaround time and turnover of staff. Information technologies, there was also a surplus of $92,551. This was due to the district working with the IT department at the county and delaying the 5-year replacement program from 23-24 to 23-24, sorry, the current year. So this will be coming forth to the board next month for the new 5-year replacement program. This was postponed primarily due to the high costs of hardware. In addition, there was some important improvements, to the boardroom, and IT had, fortunately from the county, been able to assist, and we also came in under budget for that. Moving on, the IMRF fund, really it functioned as anticipated for the fiscal year. And then insurance liability fund also performed as anticipated in the year, as well as the Social Security fund. So based on the recommendations from the Finance Committee and Executive Committee, and working with the county, these are all based on estimates. It's early in their process, but the recommendation from the board to this point was to increase by both CPI and new construction. The CPI component is $400,343, and the new construction component would be between $92,000 and $125,000. So I just want to make the board aware that should this option be chosen, because it is above the 5% CPI, it would require a truth and taxation hearing, which is a very brief 5 to 10 minute meeting prior to those ordinances being adopted next month at full commission. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those. Otherwise, presented for your approval today is the budget for tax levy purposes for tax year 2023.
And this is the budget for the budget. Yep. Okay, do you have anything you'd like to add, Mr. Director?
Thank you. I think Dave covered it in detail, but just to point out, yeah, that surplus in full-time salaries is something that got our attention. We're confident that it's already corrected and was, I don't want to say a blip because it was substantial, but it was due to the ERI, and that is just not the case anymore. It'll be much closer to 100% spend out this year. And then the truck situation is one we continue to contend with. You'll see Pat Chess is here to talk about a co-op solution for one vehicle, and then operations is also exploring other ways to get those. We would like to get those trucks in-house and get it spent down, but those are the two problems of the last year.
And are there any questions for either David or Ben? Yes, Mr. Davist.
David, did you No, Davis, here. Did you prepare any, as we have in the past, a little scenario of what 1, 2, and 3 would cost the average taxpayer?
Yes, I did. Based on the estimates from the county and those calculations for the option being recommended, it would result in approximately $1.82 increase per household on an average household of 233,000. If it was CPI only, it would be $1.13 approximately. And then with new construction only, it would be approximately 35 cents increase on a $233,000 house.
As we talk about, $400,000, $500,000, I think it helps to keep some perspective on what this burden is to the individual and the value that you get for it. We've enjoyed tremendous success with all of our referendums and the popularity of the work that's done. When you tell somebody that's going to cost them, what's it, $1.82?
Correct.
I think it's a happier story that way.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Davis. Any other comments or questions? Then we'll ask for roll call, please.
Doherty.
Mr. Doherty?
I forgive my ignorance. There's 3 options. Are we voting to open all 3 options? Are we voting on one of the 3 options?
This is a vote for number one. The first option, which was explained as the CPI and the new tax or new construction. That was the recommendation of the finance and the executive committees.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Allen,
Allen, I.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty,
Already know.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal, Juby,
Aye.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Linda, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Pepe,
Tepe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young.
Young, no.
It's approved.
Motion passes. All right, may I have a motion and a second for FPR 2310-3046, resolution authorizing a 1-year extension to the historical structures operating and caretaking agreement with the Preservation Partners of Fox Valley. Moved by
Alan moves.
Alan, second by
Linder.
Linder. Then that is Mr. Habather.
Yes, before you is a short, only 1-year extension for our friends, the Preservation Partners. We're currently working on a longer term extension, but their agreement has expired during this time. So we just wanted to make sure that they had, we both had a contract during this time. The only substantial change from the previous multi-year agreement was an increase in our stipend from us to them of about 17,000. As a reminder, the work that the Preservation Partners do for us is the Fabian Villa on the west side of Fabian Forest Preserve, also at Leroy Oaks. I'd encourage anybody to go visit what they do there at the Durant House and the Shoals School. And what we've recently done with a grant there is tie our natural resource exhibits at Creek Bend in with the cultural exhibits that they interpret for us. And you can just really see what they do. They're doing a great job. They have tons of school age and adult children that come, or not adult children, but adults that come through there and experience their programming. So this has gone really well. And we look forward to bringing this back next year with some additional changes. Right now, we're negotiating the interpretation of the Fabian Windmill by Preservation Partners and extending some of their access to the Japanese garden.
I've been accused of being an adult child.
You call it an adult.
Very popular, very, very popular, as you know, I think prom season, as you said.
Yeah.
was,
Oh, yeah. Homecoming pictures.
Even just at Fabian, popular place for pictures. Okay, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Allen,
Alan, I.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty,
Already yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal, Juby,
Aye.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Linda, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surges,
Yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young,
Young, yes.
approved.
May I have a motion and a second for FPR 2310-3047 resolution approving the purchase of a vehicle for use by the Natural Resource Management Department. Moved by
Berman, move.
Berman, second by Gums. And that would be our Natural Resource Management Director, Pat Chess.
Yeah, good morning. As referenced earlier, the district has had a little bit of difficulty in acquiring new vehicles. So this is one of the kind of solutions we're looking to. Just a little bit of background about this one. This would be a brand new vehicle to the district, not a replacement. This one is also tied to the ERI process. So this one would be a dedicated vehicle for the plant technician position, which was a newly created job within our natural resource management department. That position is fully field-based. She works around the county, monitoring our rare plant populations, harvesting native seed, doing vegetation inventories. So this vehicle would allow her to move between the preserve and do that work out in the field. We did earlier this fiscal year go out to bid to try to get bids in on buying this vehicle. We did not receive any bids in on this model or a similar model. And so we were excited to see some of these purchasing co-ops come through. The Suburban Purchasing Cooperative is based here out of Northeastern Illinois. They did receive a contract in with Sutton Ford out of Madison for these vehicles. We'd be looking to purchase a Ford F-250 in order to outfit that position. Funds totaling $54,000 were budgeted in this fiscal year for the purchase of this vehicle, and going through the options under this contract through the SPC bid. The vehicle that we'd be looking to acquire here would cost $52,915. So the sufficient funds of $54,000 are available to cover that expense. And so we are recommending going forward with purchase of this vehicle from Sutton Ford.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Chess? Roll call, please. Then.
Allen, sorry, Allen,
Alan,
Bates,
Yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty,
yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal, Juby,
Juby, I.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Linda, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth, Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surges,
Burgess, yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young,
Young, yes.
approved.
Motion passes. May I motion in a second for FPR 2310-3048, a resolution approving the Forest Preserve District's holiday schedule for 2024. Moved by
Bates moves.
Bates, second by
Leonard, second.
Leonard.
Morning before you today.
This is-
Oh, I'm sorry.
I had Ben down, but we have Jennifer. This is going to give us.
Yes, this one's an easy one, so I volunteered.
Oh,
every spring
good.
For
Yeah.
it, so yes. Consistent with the district's employee handbook, this is the holiday schedule for district employees in 2024. In addition to the regular schedule is the 2024 general election day, which the district generally provides to employees. So it is staff's recommendation that the board adopt a resolution approving these holidays for 2024.
Okay, any questions? No holidays missed there or anything for anybody? Okay, roll call, please.
Allen,
I.
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty,
yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal, Juby,
Juby, I.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Linda, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surges, Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young.
Young, yes.
It's approved.
Motion passes. In planning and utilization, may I have a motion and second for FPR 2310-3049, a resolution approving a change order with V3 Companies Limited for professional services to develop engineering plans for the John J. Dewar Forest Preserve improvements. Moved by
Kenyon would move.
Kenyon, second by
Strathman.
Strathman. And then we have Chief of Planning, Jennifer Rooks Lopez.
All right, good morning. The resolution in front of you today is for a change order for engineering services to V3's contract for the John Dewar Forest Preserve. So in 2022, the district was awarded an OSLAD grant for renovations over at John Dewar. One of the key components of that grant application was to redo the existing boat launch at John Dewar Forest Preserve. The boat launch that was submitted with the grant was going to be a floating ADA compatible boat launch. However, as we moved forward with our engineering with V3, it became apparent that the floating component of that boat launch would not work with the river. So the combination of the severe slopes going to the Fox River and the fluctuation in the water heights of the river would make that floating dock ADA accessible sometimes and not ADA accessible other times. So we've worked with with V3 engineers to come up with a solution. It will be a concrete structure switchback, which will allow us to still get that ADA component for a boat launch. We have reached out to the state and confirmed that they would accept that as a change to our grant application. But because it is a structural boat launch at this point, it's going to require some structural engineering, which was not in the original engineering services proposal with V3. When we brought this forward originally, there was a $10,900 design contingency held separately just in case something popped up. That's not going to be adequate to cover the full $20,400 structural engineering change order. So we would be requesting an additional $9,500 to bring us up to the $20,400 structural engineering change order for V3. There are sufficient funds in the account of $1,037,417 to cover the change order, and it would bring V3's contract up to a not to exceed $126,395.
Okay, any questions for Ms. Rooks Lopez? No? A roll call, please.
Allen,
Allen, I.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty,
yes.
Davist,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal, Juby,
Juby, I.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surges, Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young,
Young, yes.
approved.
Motion passes. May I have a motion and a second for FPR 2310-3050, resolution approving bids for herbicide control of woody resprouts at various preserves, moved by
Kenyon would move.
Kenyon, second by
Leonard seconds.
Leonard. And this is Pat Chess again.
So this one follows on from last month. We had a bid go through for the removal of invasive trees and brush out of the preserves. So here we've got a bid for herbicide follow-up on some of our contracts that we've done in the past. So as staff and contractors spend the winters removing invasive woody brush from the forest reserves, that's typically a 2 to 4 year process in terms of clearing out the ones that resprout from the stumps that remain, or clearing out anything that remains in the seed bed. So as those invasive species have been present over the years and raining seed down, so we open up the canopy through that clearing process. Those seeds will germinate and the invasive species come back. So we do a 2 to 4 years of follow-up upon that initial clearing. And so that's what this bid is intended for here. The 4 areas that we went out to bid for, these were all areas that were contract cleared last winter. So that takes place at 4 different preserves: Grunwald, Burnage, Big Rock, and Fabian. We had contractors in last winter clearing these out. They did in those contracts initially have a first year control. So this past summer, they were hit for resprouts. This would be a second year follow-up to help maintain those gains from the initial clearing. After going out to bid, we did receive bids in from 2 companies. Those are Woods to Wetlands and Integrated Lakes Management. We've worked with both of those companies on projects like this in the past, and they've done a good job. Financially here, we do have funds totaling $140,000 budgeted in our fiscal year for weed management. Of that amount, a little over $38,000 is left at this point, which is sufficient to cover projects 1 and 2. Here at a total expense of $30,274. Project 3 in here is part of a capital project. That's the Big Rock Bald Eagle and Wild Turkey project. So in that account, we had $385,000 budgeted initially. Following the clearing work, we do have $71,518 left, which is sufficient to cover that $70,605 expense. And then project 4 is also a capital project. That's part of our migratory bird habitat project. That's also a project that had $385,000 budgeted towards it. That one was primarily funded through a Illinois DCEO grant. On that account, we have $83,525 remaining, which is not quite enough to cover that $100,220 expense. Although we do have sufficient funds to cover the remaining $16,695 when splitting that between our weed management account and our tree and brush thinning account. So we know we're stretching a little bit to get that last one done. Although you'll see that's 114 acres of woody resprout treatment, which is primarily being funded through that grant project. And if we were to not get this project done through contractors, we'd be putting it on staff and likely would not get that 114 acres covered. So at this time, we are recommending going forward with approval of all 4 bids at a total expense of $201,099.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Chess? Roll call, please.
Allen,
Allen, I.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Havist,
That was yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Kickball, Juby,
I.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surges,
Yes.
Tarver,
Carver, yes.
Tepe,
Deppie, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young,
Young, yes.
approved.
Motion passes. May I have a motion and a second for FPR 2310-3051, a resolution approving a bid for construction of an electric fence at Burlington Prairie Forest Preserve, moved by
Move that. Buffalo.
Kenyon and Bates. Okay, and that would be Pat Chess. Continue, sir.
All right, so we saved my most exciting one here for my last presentation. So this is step 1 here in the process of bringing bison back onto our prairie landscapes here in Kane County. This would be the construction of the electric fence out at Burlington Prairie. It's about a 60-acre section of prairie that we'd be looking to fence in. It's about 7,350 feet of fence. This would be a woven wire fence that would also have electric lines running around it. The electricity would be supplied by solar panels here. There'd be several gates custom fit to allow access for the farmers in and out. We did go out to bid at for this project with both a 6-foot and an 8-foot option. In terms of height, we've talked to several of the potential farmers that might be housing the animals in there. All of them have said that the 6-foot height would be sufficient for what we are looking to do. So at this point, we're recommending going forward with the 6-foot option, which is a little less expensive here. After going out to bid, the low bid came in from Farmway Fencing in the total of $144,859.76. Funds totaling $120,000 were budgeted in this fiscal year, so we're a little over there. Although we do have funds remaining in the Hughes Creek Golf Course Maintenance Building Fund of $25,339. And that project is complete. So what we'd be looking to do here is fund that $120,000 out of the defense line, and then the remaining from that golf course maintenance building. Also, as a reminder here, we do have a $90,100 grant from the King County Riverboat Fund. So following this expense, we would be reimbursed $90,000 back to the district for this construction. So at this point in time, we are recommending going forward with approval of the bid from Farmway Fencing for $144,859.76.
Okay, any questions? I think I got the same thing you have when I come into this room.
It's because it's cold.
Chilly. Okay, bring on the buffalo. Roll call, please.
Gary has his hand up.
I don't think a motion's been.
I'm sorry.
Gary has his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Mr. Doherty.
Yeah, when this was initially presented, we were told it was going to be 90,000 for the fence, with the 120 being contingent of unseen expenses. So the 144 is not just slightly over. It's more than 50% over the rate that we told it was going to cost for the fence of 90,000. So what the heck happened? How do we get it so wrong?
Well,
I can answer that.
Mr. Habither.
Yeah, this is Ben Habither. You're absolutely correct. The $90,000 quote that the grant was based on was without prevailing wage for labor. At that time, it was drafted. Staff believe it was under an ag exemption. Corporate counsel corrected us by the time we went to bid, and that 100% represents the increase in price, because the approximately $145,000 for construction is the prevailing wage cost, where the $90,000 quote was without prevailing wage.
Question answered? Anything else, Mr. Doherty? Okay.
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Then roll call, please.
Allen,
Allen, I.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty,
Doherty, yes.
Davist,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal, Juby,
I.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Linda, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surges, Tarver,
Carver, yes.
Pepe,
Tippy, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young,
Young, yes.
it's approved.
Motion passes. May I have a motion and a second for FPR 2310-3052, resolution ratifying letter of support for a 12-year extension request for the East State Street TIF District. Moved by Berman. Second by
Lewis.
Lewis. Mr. Habither?
Yes. So the implication of this extension of the TIF for Geneva equates to about 4,469 in lost revenue to the Forest Preserve District. Over 12 years, that equals $53,628. We have sent the letter of support due to the hence the ratification due to the deadline that Geneva needed by the 29th. We presented this for consensus to finance and had the recommendation from executive. We were going in line with what the county had done. Madam Chair's letter was dated September 8th, and President Caius's letter was dated September 26th. That's all.
Mr. Surges?
So is there a recommendation by staff to do this?
In this case, it has been done. We had the letter from
already done
President
it.
Caius, yeah, on behalf of the district supporting Geneva.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Supply from the United States direct.
Allen,
Allen, I.
Bates,
Bates, no.
Berman,
Yes.
Doherty,
Doherty, yes.
Davist,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Gums,
Yes.
Iqbal, Juby,
No.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Dice, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, no.
Lewis,
Those yes.
Linder,
Linder, no.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman,
yes.
Sturgis, Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, no.
Young,
Young, yes.
passes. Mr. President.
Motion passes. Thank you. May I have a motion and a second for FPR 2310-3053, resolution to purchase a parcel approximately 294.831 acres in Rutland Township. Moved by Sturgis, second by
Roth.
Sanchez. And this would be Ben Haberther again.
Yes. I'd love to tell you a lot more about this, but in interest of time, we're looking at 294 acres. This is the southwest intersection of 90 and 47. Very exciting property for the Forest Preserve District. You can see the remnant wetlands in there. There's about 6 acres of never been plowed sedge meadow in there. Most of the woodland area that you see in the core of the preserve is 125-year-old plus legacy oaks in there. It's really, staff kind of felt it was like a turnkey forest preserve when we're out there. A lot of the other areas still arable, and we can earn income from farming while we're waiting to restore that property. One main stipulation is that this is in the municipal boundary, municipal limits of Huntley. As such, by the Downstate Forest Preserve Act, we need concurrence from that municipality. We've been seeking that. I presented up there a couple months ago. We had some modifications to the acquisition to meet their economic plans up there. They will have a final vote. Lori, if we could go back a page, you'll see, I think it's stipulation number 3 in the resolution, which we'll be sharing with Village of Huntley, that your vote is contingent on their concurrence. So that vote by the Huntley board will be the 26th of the month, at which time we can close on this. But we're just bringing this out of closed session now as we've reached a deal on price and are looking to close with our colleagues at Huntley. So total sale price, $4,950,000, which is the 290, almost 295 acres, represents the largest acquisition of the 2017 referendum. I don't think we've closed on anything this large since 2008 with the Brunner acquisition. So a big win for conservation. This works out to just under 17,000 per acre. I don't have the number right in front of me, but pretty good price for that.
Okay. Yeah. Any questions? Oh, Mr. Sturgis.
Ben, well, I think for those up north, we would salivate to just even at the prospect of this. The reality is I would not want to bear pressure on Huntley to do this by passing this. A great amount of money, effort, time has been spent on that I-90 Route 47 acquisition. And if you're taking 25% of that corner away for a forest preserve, I would be way more comfortable if Huntley passed this first and then brought it to us, rather than us sending the indication that, we're trying to tell you what to do. That's just me personally.
Yeah.
It's a huge effort. This wasn't something willy-nilly. They've been working on this for years, and if they're in concurrence,
yes,
yay, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I think we have a sponsor.
Yeah, if we could look back at the map, please, Laura. Yeah, so we have been communicating heavily to avoid exactly that. We need to work with our municipal partners as staff as well and make sure we have a good relationship. The triangle to the south, if you wouldn't mind pointing at that, Laura, there's 45 acres here. The uncolored triangle. Yeah, to the north of 47.
Other side of the road.
I'm pointing right at it. That one, yeah, that one right there.
Do you want me to scroll up? Sorry. Here, do you want to take the, you dropped the bus.
She can't point.
That's all right. This 45 acres right here was part of the original plan to acquire. After meeting with Huntley, they said that would be deleterious to their economic plan, would not give us concurrence if we were to do that. So we modified the plan to enter with a co-buyer who will be, that will never come to the Forest Preserve District, but instead will be developed per their plan. So to your point, sir, we had met with them. They said they would not be offering concurrence if we sought that. If we modified our acquisition to this, they would be happy.
Okay.
And that will allow us the access to the property as well.
Yes.
From 40, and that lower line that's 47, right? So the commercially important property will be commercially important and remain so. Anything else? Any other questions?
Is there an urgency for this for the closing?
Yes. So that is the urgency here, is that the owner is looking to close as soon as possible. They also wanted to do a single closing date. So it was some negotiation to have a co-buyer at that time, rather than just, one of the things we had explored was us acquiring and then reselling that 45 acres to a developer. The timing of a plan like that was not sufficient to the board at Huntley, as they thought this board reserving the right to resell was not strong enough to guarantee that it would be resold and developed.
So if we
modified
held
that.
off on this, their meeting's on the 26th, when would the
Correct.
next Forest Preserve meeting be?
The next full commission. Next full commission would November 14th, says Gabby.
So we're talking about 2 weeks delay on this. I would be, this is just Surges. I would be way more comfortable waiting for Huntley and delaying this 14 days, so.
Our
If I could,
attorney, Jerry?
yeah, if I could
Uh,
just clarify a bit, in the negotiation process, Huntley wanted us to pass this first. So they wanted to review, they wanted to have concurrence if we were committed to acquire, and that we were not going to acquire the developable triangle.
Very good point.
The other thing that's unstated here is there's some easements that they want to make sure are preserved, that are going to be very much in the perimeter. So we've kind of met with their, and trying to accommodate what their request is in terms of their staff as well as the board.
Right. Village Administrator Dave Johnson, who I've been working up there, he's actually asked for a copy of this resolution to put in their packet for that 26th date.
So
I
once,
think they feel more confident.
once we pass it, then it confirms that we are committed to doing this, as opposed to buying the whole thing and then trying to sell it off and say we will. This actually affirms that this is part of what they have asked us to do. And Mr. Sanchez, did you have?
Thank you, President Caius. Yeah, as chairman of the Land Acquisition Committee, I just wanted to say this has been a long time coming. We've had a lot of very good in-depth conversations on this acquisition. And it's good to see it come to the light of day. It's going to be a great spot. I can't wait to go visit when it opens. Actually, probably before that, but yeah.
I'm in.
Well, okay. Any other questions, comments? Anybody online? Mr. Doherty?
I'm sorry, I can't see what people are pointing at, but the section nearest 47, if somebody wanted to develop just that section, would we be open to breaking that off in the future for, the amount of money that's going to cost us to buy the whole thing? Somebody would buy the frontage of 47 for that kind of money, in the future as things grow. Would we do that, or are we just going to take it and keep it?
Mr. Habither will answer that.
Right. So the deal as written is that this would be protected in perpetuity. So there would be no option to resell. We had explored that one. We had also, the Huntley board had discussed other developable areas, including that corner of 47 that you're mentioning. Their access plan that IDOT had created is the access for development will be in that southern triangle that the cursor's sitting on the computer, and there won't be utilities piped to that area, or it would be cost prohibitive to develop that other corner.
Is
my
have a
understanding.
picture? I'm sorry, Mr. Habither. Do you have a video? Are you looking at a video, Gary?
Yeah. I see the screen, but I can't see what.
You see the
people-
cursor
I see that
on the
triangle.
screen?
I'm talking about the section off 47 just north of there that's part of the purchase plan. Yeah.
Oh, right in there. Okay.
No.
I mean, that would be expensive land at some point when the growth gets there.
There would be no option.
Okay.
Or any other questions?
Nope, thank you.
Roll call, please.
Allen,
Allen, I.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Burn, yes.
Doherty,
Doherty, yes.
Davist,
That was yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal, Juby,
I.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surges,
Yes, point of order, just to be, this is contingent on Huntley's agreement. Correct. Yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Tepe,
Debbie, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young,
Young, yes.
it's approved.
Motion passes. May I have a motion and a second for FPR 2310-3054, resolution to purchase a parcel approximately 22.66 acres in Blackberry Township, moved by
Williams moves.
Williams, second by
Sanchez.
Sanchez. And this is Mr. Haberther again.
Just a little more straightforward acquisition. This is 22.6 acres. It's an in-holding at the Johnson's Mound Forest Preserve. We were able to close on this. Sorry, I lost my resolution. Do you have the resolution on there, Lori, for the total price? $424,875, which works out to $18,750 per acre. In the Land Acquisition Committee, they capped our offer at 10% appraised value. There was a donation by an anonymous donor of approximately $28,250 to complete this acquisition, reaching that total. This just makes sense as an in-holding and kind of completes a little bit of the donut hole that's available at Johnson's Mound.
Okay, any questions? Vote, please.
Allen,
Allen, I.
Bates,
Yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty,
Doherty, aye.
Davist,
That was yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal, Juby,
I.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Surges,
Sturgis, yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Tepe,
Debbie, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young,
Young, yes.
approved.
Silva, yes.
Silva, I'm sorry. I knew I skipped somebody. I was trying to go through.
So much shorter, yeah. The motion passes. May I have a motion and a second for FPR 2309-3043, resolution approving recommendations to take final action on the Mill Creek Forest Preserve barn structure, moved by
Gums will move.
Gums, second by
Silva, seconds.
Silva.
Mr. President.
Then we have a presentation by Mr. Haberther.
I would like to propose an amendment.
Can we have a presentation first and then,
You're the
Thank-
boss.
thank you. You'll be next in line, first in line.
Very short presentation just on the resolution here, as most of the, all of the board has seen this last month, but as a reminder, the barn is at Brundage and 38, just east of our natural resource management facility. The resolution as it is written right now does enact the March 1st, 2024 deadline to find a partner. Otherwise, demolition would be approved for the barn. I think that's as short as I can make it.
Okay. Having heard it all before last month, and Madam Bates,
Thank
you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President, sir. I would like to make,
Microphone, please.
I would make an amendment that would change the wording after in the now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the Forest Preserve District of Kane County, Illinois authorizes. Then I would like to remove the wording after that and change the wording to authorizes the Kane County Forest Preserve to seek funds for the preservation and restoration of the Mill Creek Barn, period. I'll read that again.
Please.
Okay, take out the bad
take up the last part. Authorizes the Kane County Forest Preserve to seek funds for the preservation and restoration of the Mill Creek Barn.
I'm sorry, you lost me one more time. Now you said take out the bad. Can
I
you give
didn't
us-
mean,
Can you just give us a word
Right.
for word, or
Okay.
do you have this typed out? Or did you do any preparation for this so we can look at it and discuss it?
Here you
Great,
go.
thank you. Like it's all handwritten in the corner of a page.
Yeah. Okay, now therefore be it resolved. This is how I would like it to read. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the Forest Preserve District of Kane County, Illinois, authorizes the Kane County Forest Preserve to seek funds for the preservation and restoration of the Mill Creek Barn.
Motion on the floor. Is there
And I
a second?
seconded.
That would be,
Gums, I have a question.
yes, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of questions. So, is a motion,
Is
which is
my motion.
understood by our recording secretary, seconded by Strathman,
You might have asked yours.
and then Mr. Habather has a comment,
Well,
and then we'll have
clarifying
others-
question,
Yes,
and
okay.
it might be for Mr. Hodge, but whether or not the fourth clause needs to be struck as well, which also has the March 1st deadline in there.
If you're my words out of my mouth.
Oh, please. Okay, I will amend my amendment to,
I will amend my second.
to strike that
Sure.
paragraph.
That would be striking the exact verbiage of what?
I'm just talking about right here.
Okay, take out that paragraph.
Yeah.
Please.
I'm not sure I understand.
Yes,
Yes, that was my question to you.
yes.
Phone, counselor.
Strike that clause, please.
So you are looking to strike in the whereas clause, the last whereas clause,
Yes,
the time frame.
the whole thing.
Okay, but it talks about third-party funding. I thought that was exactly.
But
what-
it says, the barn is in need of, and it would not be physically desirable to allocate those funds to Mill Creek Barn unless well, maybe just strike the date then.
Or we could just vote no to the whole thing and
Yeah.
give it time.
The whole whereas,
No, just
vote
as
no.
is, just vote no and just,
just vote no.
yeah.
I think it'd be better to get it on the record that we are supporting the preservation and restoration.
It's what we'd be doing,
Oh, it's already been.
giving them a chance to go do their work.
Well, there's a
Okay.
motion on the floor to modify this,
Was seconded.
and it's been seconded.
And as I hear you say, your amendment is to,
Find funds to restore the barn.
yeah, so I think it would be, you're still seeking a third-party funding source with the district. You just want to remove the March 1, the language that says before March 1 to cover all restoration costs. Is that it?
Well, I'm not sure how much time we've got to do this morning.
Mr. Chairman,
This is not very clear to the chair. Mr. Berman, I will ask, he had his hand up first, and then Mr. Ford.
Berman here. The way it, and Bates, describes this is that it's our responsibility to seek funds to, save this. And it's not really our responsibility. All we're doing is making it available for someone else to come up with the funding to pay for this. So I think way she's worded it is that it's our responsibility to seek out those funds. And I don't want that to be our responsibility.
Thank you, Mr. Ford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Actually took part of my words, so thank you on that. The other part is, do we really need a resolution to have staff like seek funds? as long as I've been here, it's something they just naturally do without our request. I mean, we don't even know half the stuff they seek funds for. So I think the object here is to really just vote no on the resolution.
On vote no on the resolution. We're talking about the amendment right now.
All right.
So we're,
Yes,
would be vote no on the amendment and then vote no on the,
yes.
that's your comment. Then I hear Mr. Tepe back there.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Part of the thing that bothers me is there's been extensive conversations in our subcommittees associated with this particular barn and concerns about the safety of the area around that barn. And if we start delaying things, on an infinite basis, we're going to really run into some problems because we've got to deal with those safety issues sooner than later. This sets a date certain that if we have funding by March 1, then things can occur. If we don't have funding, then we move ahead with addressing those key issues. So again, I don't know how much time you want to spend on this today, but
Not much. That was
I
good.
wish,
Thank
I
you.
wish that this had been presented in the committee meetings because this to me handled all of the objections that
Thank
had
you.
been.
Thank you. Then it's over here. I see a hand or two.
I have a,
Oh, Mr. Williams.
I mean, I understand Mr. Tepe's point. I was in the barn yesterday. We heard the speakers talk about the consultant that came through and evaluated the barn. It's not in imminent danger of leaving it. I think we just vote no on the resolution and we work on this in committee again.
Okay,
So we've got a motion and a second to amend this. That's what we're going to be voting on first, unless you'd like to withdraw that amendment.
I'll withdraw.
So the myth in the second withdrawn.
Yes.
So now we would go to discussion of the resolution, which I will read again, I think. Approving recommendations to take final action on the Mill Creek Forest Preserve barn structure, which as it says here would then require us to go forward with this, but with the date of March 1st, 2024. But at that point, if there is some resolution in the funding to make this work, then we would postpone that at the time. We'll go to Mr. Doherty first. Mr. Doherty, comment?
Yeah, so we had some speakers that seemed very enthusiastic about taking this on and asked for some time. So this resolution gives them 6 months.
5 now.
Why is that not enough time? And obviously staff has already examined this and decided that Kane County does not want to invest in this building, but we have a bunch of people who do. We give them till March, and if they don't, they don't. I don't understand why there's any discussion on this.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Tepe, one more time.
Thank you, Tepe here. I agree with Mr. Doherty. Okay, however, if people are concerned, I would suggest that instead of voting no on this, that they consider tabling it to next month. But I'm in favor of the time period as it's.
Okay, then we have a comment from state's attorney or from our attorney.
Yeah, a motion to table would take precedence, so that could be voted on first.
Okay, I haven't gotten a motion like that.
Yeah. No one motion.
Vern, were you making that motion?
Making it.
Okay.
I think we're fine. I just.
Call
this
the
was
vote
done
then.
in committee
Have a
meetings,
comment.
you know.
Call the vote for the amendment.
You've had, well, the amendment's been withdrawn. This is either to vote for this with a deadline of March 1st or not. To get some progress on it anyway. Yes.
I believe the intent of some of our speakers were to make the point that 6 months may not be enough time to find sufficient funding. It could take much longer than that. And the other, one of the consultant, the expert, said that there is no safety issue, that it's structurally sound. So there's no rush to take this down, and there's plenty of rush to not take it down.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman Ford.
So please vote no.
Well, I see Mr. Davis here.
And all I was just gonna add to that was that Davis, speaking, there's no prohibition on us bringing a similar resolution back at any time in the future.
Right.
It's, you say no today, we could, get to March 1st or April and say, okay, that's enough time and you do this again.
To extend it, you're talking about. Okay, and Mr. Ford?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The problem with the deadline of March 1st is if it's federal funds, they're on a different calendar year than everyone else.
Is it, I don't know, Mr.
Right,
Rapp?
yeah, that is what the deadline is based on, is the funds that we have for the development of the whole Mill Creek Greenway, including the archery range. And this March 1st deadline is when we would, the furthest we could go before we had to do RFP for construction. If the vote was to take down the barn, then we could use those funds to clean up that area. If not, but that's where this came from. Was
Yeah.
to use
No,
the grant
I'm
funds.
not for us. I'm talking about for those who
federal
are
funds for barn
here.
restoration.
Yes,
Yeah.
doing a restoration.
That'd be a much longer.
I'm not
timeline.
sure. Yeah, okay. So we're at a point where we're going to take a vote of yes or no on this resolution. Roll call, please.
Allen,
Alan, no.
Bates,
Bates, no.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty,
Doherty, yes.
Davist,
Davis, no.
Ford,
Ford, no.
Gums,
Gums, no.
Iqbal, Juby,
Juby, no.
Kenyon,
No.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Linda, no.
Molina,
Molina, no.
Roth,
Roth, no.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, no.
Strathman,
Strathman, no.
no,
No.
Sturgis,
Nope.
Tarver,
No.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, no.
Young,
Young, no.
Good job of pushing things off. It doesn't pass.
it failed.
Okay, then this motion does not pass. Then we will be addressing this
In committee again?
committee and come with some sort of a solution to get it through the full board. Thank you for all your discussion. I think this is healthy to have this out and discuss. I think it's a great idea to have that. So, thank you. Then, probably to the dismay of everyone, that we're going to have closed session now. I would entertain a motion to go to closed session to discuss collective negotiation matters.
Board moves.
Williams
Ford moved
seconds.
by Berman. For those of you in the audience, I apologize, but closed session is to discuss legal matters that is not open to the general public. In this case, it's the matter of collective negotiation matters. So I'm going to ask you to please vacate the room. And as soon as we as soon as we've dealt with our internal business here, we will allow you to come back in.
Record, Mr. Chairman.
Not in a good way.
So we need to also give their money away. Unless the courts do, you know, I mean,
Oh, I need roll call to go in. I apologize.
the only problem-
So I guess we,
Roll
roll call, please.
Allen,
Alan,
Bates, Berman,
You've been there.
Doherty,
Doherty, yes.
Davist,
Davis, yes.
Ford, Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal, Juby,
Juby, aye.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard, Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Linda, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Sturgis,
Yes.
Tarver,
Yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young,
Yes.
All right, for everybody online that will be joining us in closed session, please accept the invite. Be aware we are live streaming. So until I tell you that we are all in closed session together, anything you say will be going out live to the public. Please accept those invites. If you are in the room, you must accept the invite as well before we can begin.
Got it all worked out.
Yeah. He doesn't pay attention. At all.
Yeah, we didn't have to.
No, no.
One way to clear.
Don't need to, we need to pull the thing.
Those in the room that have their computer joined in the Zoom session must accept the invite.
All time record.
Yeah, so anyway, he's
Been here a long time.
What continues to. Do a quick Hail Mary and. Yeah, he's got to about 45. And he said.
Good,
it's
I'm
the mass-
Is there anybody hearing my voice right now online that feels they should be in the closed session? Please voice that opinion.
With my big shoes.
celebration down in Oakhurst?
Yeah.
I do too.
Make it great.
I'll run for coffee.
lady will come.
As soon as the coffee lady comes in, I'll.
They sit around. Wait.
Would you like some coffee in there?
You're on communications warrior.
Saw that. Coffee?
Yes.
All right, you are in open session.
I have to get breakfast.
I know, but I'm gonna sit here.
He didn't
until she
say,
comes in.
he said the other six.
Right away.
did. So I don't know.
Before it goes.
My impression was he did,
We're
but.
still in our forest preserve meeting. I'll get it.
Didn't see you, I'm sorry.
Sure, I think somebody mentioned.
No. This is a record.
We're gonna start at 8:30.
We have more than one sergeant?
We'll get it. We're still in this forest preserve meeting.
From the.
Yes, yes, sir.
the
Wrong
sergeant
meeting.
To the, and as soon as that happens. We're out of closed session. I'll remind the audience that we're still in the Forest Preserve meeting. And we'll try and wrap this up very quickly and move on to the regular board meeting. Do I need, I don't need roll call for this, so we're going to do just a quick communications from our communications officer here.
Sure, just a couple updates on last month's activities in the Forest Preserve District. First off, we had It's Our Fox River Day in late September, and we removed 500 pounds of trash from the Fox River. At the bottom is a picture that Commissioner Bates had asked for at the last committee meeting, showing all the people that turned out to help us clean the Fox River. So thank you for that.
There's a big crowd.
It was a big crowd. The Great Orb Hunt has wrapped up at Leroy Oaks Forest Preserve, and our partner Fine Line Creative Arts Center has gone out on a sort of reconnaissance mission to see what orbs are left, and they could not find any. So we believe they've all been found, and there are about 13 that haven't been registered. So if you did find an orb, please let us know. Hopefully we'll do this again next year. National Public Lands Day, we had 2 volunteer groups come out. Toyota came out and helped harvest seed and clear brush out at Leroy Oaks. Good time had by all. And then Aurora University students cleaned up trash from Lake Patterson at Oakhurst Forest Preserve. And here are some of those photos. And lastly, we had Harvest the Acorn Moon on Sunday, September 24th at Oakhurst Forest Preserve as well. And here are some of the happy people at our annual Fall Festival. And that's it.
Great, good work. Thank you. This communications, president's comments. I would encourage everyone to go toward the end of the agenda today. I think it's page 126. There's about 10 or 20 pages of the enlisted how important and the services provided by our safety officer and his staff, as well as all of the other natural resources in depth to gather just how active and how involved with the community we are. These outreaches that Lori's talking about are the face of what we see. There's just a lot that goes on behind the scenes that you'll get monthly in that report. So, and kudos to those staff, to the staff that do such a great job. Then may I have a motion and a second to place the monthly reports on file? Moved by Berman, second by
Roth.
In discussion, roll call, please.
Allen,
Aye.
Bates,
Yes.
Berman,
Yes.
Doherty,
yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Ford,
yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Chuby, aye.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Leonard,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Linder,
Yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Yes.
Strathman,
yes.
Sturgis,
Yes.
Tarver,
Yes.
Tepe, Williams,
yes.
Young,
Yes.
it's approved.
It passes. May I have a motion and a second to adjourn?
Motion from Kenyon to adjourn.
Roth will second.
14th.
Seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We got overtime.
Dave.
Thank you for being giving us that extra hour.